All right, guys, what's going on? My name is Zardos. Welcome back to Endless Space 2. This is the same turn 7, that we left off on last time. I have played a couple iterations of this game just for the next couple turns because I'm trying to figure out how we can win this race. As you can see, they've got a colony in 7. We've got a colony in 9. Now, down there in the tooltip, it's at the bottom paragraph. It says, which I haven't actually read this tooltip before, but it says rival empires can create an outpost on another planet of the system. The first to achieve a population becomes the sole owner of the system, right? Okay. That said, I have gotten to a point where we were going to tie for the system. And when that happens, it says colony contested. Once I got to that point, I kind of just figured, you know what, let's go ahead and just load the save and get back to it. So anyway, we'll see what happens. One thing that we do need to do, I tried a lot of different scenarios. One thing that I thought was, okay, well, we need these boosters, right? We need a glass steel, Hyperium or titanium booster. I say glass steel a lot because I played Endless Legend. I've played more Endless Legend than I have played this game. So, yeah. So another thing that I was thinking is, I could try to make a ship that has a lot of movement points and just run it over there as fast as possible. Which I think I'm going to do because optimistically, in the event that we actually tie for this system, I don't think we can win, but we might be able to tie. In the event that that happens, we need to send a fleet over here to loosen their grip over this system. I forget exactly what the pop-up says, but it's something like that. And we'll be lucky if we see it anyway. Some other things I tried were trying to up the science output of our empire in order to get galactic commodities, which would allow us to buy strategic resources. But unfortunately, that strategy is just not fast enough. We're going to want to get galactic commodities anyway, so I'm actually going to queue it up. Right now, we're working on atmospheric filtration so we can get monsoons and forest. And the monsoon is in our hometown. But then also, there was a monsoon. No, it wasn't there. Somewhere we were wanting to colonize monsoons and forests. Perhaps it was just for our hometown. I honestly don't remember. I should watch my own Let's Play to remind myself. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm not going to waste too much time on that. Anyway, atmospheric filtration doesn't feel as pressing to me right now than just getting galactic commodities up and running. So I think I'm going to switch those. Oh, that's right. I wanted Monsoon because this has a ton of strategics on it, and that actually will benefit us more than Miners Union will. Okay. Cool. So anyway, it's not going to be fast enough, unfortunately, to go for the marketplace. It just won't be. So I've tried it a couple times. I was able to max out the Empire's science at around 72, 73, and that was by finishing this machine embodiment will give us a good chunk of science here because this guy alone would give us 5 science, and then with the base output of the planet, that's another 9, so we're at 14 there. And then the idea was between these two, Cerebral Reality is the fastest to build, so maybe I could build that too. our hero is going to level up in 1 or 2 turns, so that's going to be good. And it might actually be next turn. But unfortunately, our hero doesn't have a way to give us more science, though he does give us more production. But anyway, I tried this route with maximizing science, and it just wasn't cutting it. So one thing that I did notice, though, is that we have our scout ship heading over to Trime, is the way I'm going to pronounce this. 2 I's, Trime? I'm not sure. I'm American, so I can't really, actually approximate foreign languages very well because I'm so ignorant. Okay. So yeah, what I'm going to do is make a ship called the Troll, because it is going to go over there and do its best to contest that outpost. So we're going to give it full movement speed and opal lasers, just because they're versatile, and people typically build hull plating in the early game, I think. Oh, whoop. No. So we'll do that. Right, and then we are going to queue that up. Now, it says 5 right now, 5 turns to complete right now, but once our hero levels up and we build this guy, it'll be 3. So it's really like 4 turns to build, since Eternal have passed then as well. Okay, so I think that's it for this turn. Okay. So we have 7 Hyperium and 4 Titanium. If you'll notice, these guys are super close to their capital, so they're going to be getting food shipments a lot faster than we will. We don't even get production shipments from our capital, so we're kind of alone out here. But it is possible for us to luck out right now. Because this is a subterranean anomaly which gives strategic resources sometimes. So we just have to pray that this is a strategic resource. Hyperium would be preferable. Okay, so we got Titanium. This is what I got last time, so I'm beginning to think that the strategic resources are actually just loaded into the map when it's generated. So it's not for me, the anticipation was not as great, but hopefully my acting sufficed. Okay, so that's cool because we have 9 Titanium now. We're going to get 1 more next turn from our home planet, and then we will successfully be able to trigger this guy, Local Magic, which will double the production, and I think get us where we need to be. Again, I'm not sure how much chance is involved here, to be perfectly honest. Okay, so we're going to do Mechanical Genius so we can finish up our troll faster. And I think it should be 3 turns now. Yep, it is. Okay. It's just so silly. Okay, and then, you know what? Let me grab I'm just going to grab my timer. Yeah, so we're going to send our scout ship down to that outpost anyway. Just because I think that it's probably the right thing to do. Considering that I don't really know what the process of contesting an outpost is like, but I think we're going to have a pretty significant amount of manpower, I guess, in order to defeat those guys. So I'm just going to shoot a probe at that system and then have this guy head down here. I'll also probably retrofit its boosters or rocket engines or whatever they're called at our home system so it can get over there faster. I don't know if our yellow opponent, these Sophins, are going to really give us any hassle in terms of sending troops of their own. I imagine that they will, because this is, after all, this is on endless difficulty, which I can remind you of by showing the game settings. Yeah, it's on endless. It says you shall not pass. We'll see about that. So yeah, this is good. I think this is everything we need for now. Atmospheric filtration is good. Oh, one other thing. When I was trying to figure out how to take this planet, I ended up trying to take Toys for Boys off, and then I took the first ecologist law, which gave us some extra FIDs, but it turns out to just be, it's just slower, ultimately. Because Toys for Boys gives us so much approval, it accomplishes what the bonus FIDs law gives anyway. And it's free in terms of influence, and the other one is not, so... Alright, so let's take a look at this. Theirs is up in 3. We proc that. Ours is up in 4. Okay, that's slower than last time. I wonder what that's about. Yeah, that's missing technology. These guys just got 10 curiosities. I bet we were close, actually. Probably won't tell us anymore. It was down here. Yeah, you can see our progress. We were probably had 2 or 3 more to go, but not bad. All right. We're also going to want to build more colony ships. I think that this system... Yeah, this one has a small ash, which isn't great. The system is okay. Oh, that's right. Sahar is excellent because it's got so much industry. So our next colony ship will be headed that way. I might want to just queue that up. I am not really... Well, actually, yeah, this lava is going to be significantly better for us in terms of production. So I might want to keep this here, but then afterward, queue up a colony ship. Now, let's see. In this Let's Play, I have not built a Geist yet, I don't think. We just upgraded its boosters. But what I like to do... I'm quite a disciple of 4X Alchemist. I like to build an empty colony ship with no modules on it at all. And then a retrofit with dust to save time on production. So we're going to do that. We'll call this the Husk. Yep. Irrational class. With nothing on it. That way it'll be cheap to build, and then we can retrofit it into an actual colonization ship later. So that is right here. I'm just going to queue that up. Alright, I think everything is good for this turn. I will be triggering this Hyperion now because we're not gonna tie anymore. I think it's worth it. I think. By the way, thanks to everyone who watched the first video. I appreciate your subscriptions to the channel, and I hope you're watching this second video. Welcome back, and I appreciate the kind comments on Steam, Reddit, and YouTube.
You're making the Sophonoty nervous.
Yeah, what do you know? We
What
say jump, we say how high. You're learning. I don't think so, bud. Not over till it's over. I don't know how this is going to go. By the way, I've kind of just decided to entertain this because I think it's fun. But this is not an optimal way to play a safe early game. I'm about to allocate a lot of resources toward getting this done, and that's not necessarily the most strategic position or strategic decision I could be making, but I think it's worth it just to see what happens here, because this is such an interesting little quandary we've gotten ourselves in. Okay, so yeah, this is in 2 turns. Next turn, we'll have enough Hyperium to proc this, which means to activate it. And then I think they'll be on 1 turn, and we'll also be on 1 turn. Again, fingers crossed. We'll send that ship along. We found this system, Zubin, which has an atmospheric, and also this boreal has some deposits on it. It's got a poor and an average deposit. The system isn't terrible, though, as it does have a gas planet that gives production. I know those aren't terrific, but I actually don't mind entertaining gas planets. I think that they're the ones that give production, at least, I think are pretty good. If you'll notice, we don't really need a whole lot of what am I trying to say? Oh yeah, population. As our guys are so strong, we're going to be playing a wide empire anyway, so we don't need like these massive planets. We can just kind of get like tons and tons of systems of small planets, and that's okay. Something I've been grappling with, since a lot of the systems around here are cold, like Izar and Ingress and this one. Like no production at all on those. This one is not excellent, as I mentioned, so not a lot of these systems are very hospitable to us, so we're just going to have to kind of change up the playstyle a little bit to adapt to that. I'm also interested in getting Veil. I think it's interesting to get the unique planets. I'm not exactly sure if there are quest lines associated with them, because I haven't played enough of this game, but I hope that there are quest lines, because that would be really cool. Okay. So we're going to have our troll up in 1. Then we're going to colonize this planet, swap as much of our population over as we can. That'll get us unblocked from food, and then we can go on our merry way with our colonization ship. Okay, so here I'm going to activate this Hyperium as soon as possible. For a couple reasons. Well, no, really only for one reason, if I'm being honest. In this game, or rather in Endless Legend, which is by the same developers of this game, sometimes it really does matter if you click something at the beginning of the turn or if you wait a couple seconds and then click it. Back then it was for battle, but I'm imagining ship movement is kind of the same way here. So I'd rather click this and then have their food ship arrive rather than the opposite order, because I don't want to lose it. But that said, it's probably not a huge factor. Okay, so there is a fleet here. This is also something they did not do earlier, which is kind of cool. I like to see that there is some random variability there, although I'm having trouble selecting it. But it's a logistics ship. It's small. Right, and it's got 75 food, but it says the system is full. So this is one of their ship carriers, and it is sapping food from their capital. I am curious to see if food continues to get sapped from them, because if so, we might not want to seize this just yet, and we could just bleed them of food, which is kind of a cool idea. I have not even really considered that. Their base planet is not that good at food in the first place, so hopefully they're really hurting. I know it sounds evil, but okay. Cool, so we got our troll. New research. I'm going to deal with that in a second, actually. This is now colonizable, and we can get resources from it. I'm gonna want to queue that up relatively soon, but there are more urgent matters. This guy, I believe that when I retrofit this guy, he's gonna lose his movement points anyway. So I'm gonna shoot some probes out. Maybe like, I don't know. I think there might be something in this direction, maybe here, and then also here. And when I retrofit him, he's gonna get all those back anyway. So there's really no reason why not. Speaking of retrofitting, I'm just gonna do that. That is a shadow ship, I believe. Yep. I think it would be cool, by the way. I believe the way this works now is I cannot retrofit the shadow ship because Shadow 2 is up to date, although this ship is better. I would like to be able to retrofit Shadow into a troll. And I understand that this would probably be a lot of work, but it would be cool if in the ship design area you could set up a little tree with arrows that says, okay, all of these different ships, when we retrofit them, we want them to just turn into that design. And then, these guys, they retrofit to this one. And that would be neat. And that's something they've had this retrofit system in a lot of their games, Amplitude has. And I've never seen that, but I think that would be really neat. So I doubt that this is actually going to get to Amplitude anyway. But just an idea. Maybe I'll post about it later on the Games Together forums, which you guys should check out if you have not already. Just to explain what I did there, I put some opal lasers on this guy, and then I switched just one of them to movement. I want to keep some probes because after this is done, he's going to go down this lane and then also past the Sophons and continue to explore the galaxy, as we have reached a cap over here. So if we do end up winning this system, we will then want to probably snag another one to really fully cap off the Sophons. And that would be cool because then we have all of this stuff to ourselves and we don't need to worry about being forward settled or anything like that unless we encounter Lumeris. And I say that because the Lumeris, you may or may not be aware, can just outright buy an outpost on a system as soon as they see it without even sending a ship. They don't even have to be connected to it. So they're really good at rapidly expanding, just as the Riftborn are as well. Okay. So in terms of research, my philosophy with research is always just kind of look at what your empire needs and then see if there's a way for you to deal with that. Let's see. This guy gets there in 4 turns. Well, we're definitely sending him. This guy needs to get retrofit. Oh, wow. And actually picked up a movement point. Interesting. Picked up a movement point. Did not expect that to happen. He's also going here, but a bit slower. Hopefully that'll be fine. Maybe I'm underestimating the military might of the Sophons, but it really doesn't seem like their style. Okay, so in terms of science, yeah. So just check out your empire, see what you might need. With these guys, I would always recommend production-based things. Building interplanetary transport network is going to be really good in this system because I believe this is going to give anyone on this planet +6 production, and anyone here also +6 because it gives +3 per planets with strategic deposits. Okay, so maybe it'll only give +3. But we'll just have to look at that. And then the additional +1. Okay, so we're content here. We're not happy. We have infinite supermarkets which can fix that, although it might take some time for that to happen. We're also going to dip a little bit in approval once we pick this place up, so it might be worth doing an approval route. like this one, for instance, just straight up gives us approval. We don't need to build this because it's an empire improvement, as you can see, where this one is a system improvement. So that means it's a building that you need to build. Xenology is going to be useful to us once we actually interact with some minor factions, but that has not happened yet. I am kind of playing with the idea of just rushing the Sophons and trying to kill them. Although that's pretty hard to do. Generally, I think rushes are difficult in this game. We could play with efficient shielding. These guys are going to be on the back burner. Planetary landscaping and botanical scanning are both food techs, and we don't really need to focus food very much. As I mentioned earlier, galactic commodities is going to be good for us, period. So is multi-thread management and perhaps even astrofinance. So this side of the tree is going to be really important in general. In fact, I think I'm just going to go ahead and pick up galactic commodities for Miners Union, because that'll allow us to go even faster with our strategics, and then we can build our singularities, which we haven't done yet this game because of our outpost expense. But typically in the early game as the Riftborn, singularities are the name of the game. So let's see what happens here. So we are tied 1-1. And this says no progress on outpost. So it says outpost contested on Gaikon. Your outpost is contested on Gaikon. Send a fleet or take other actions to weaken the other empire's claim. Weaken the other empires and claim this star system. So, okay. I believe that we'll need to send a fleet here to deal with this, but it does say colony in 1. So we'll see. This was the point where I dipped out from the game that I was playing earlier, because I realized, like, oh man, it's actually plausible to get this outpost. I got to show people. So I ended up just like not even playing out the next turn. So I really honestly do not know what's going to happen next turn. Maybe we'll get it. Maybe it'll be frozen. Maybe they'll get it. Either way, we've got someone headed over there to see if we can make this any faster. Oh, speaking of going faster, it might have made sense for us to get baryonic shielding. Even though it would have taken us 5 turns. Perhaps getting it even before atmospheric filtration would have been a good idea, because then these guys could just jump this gap. He has 12 movement points, so it probably is faster to just go across, but I guess his movement points don't matter. It's the length. It's the relative lengths of this path and this one. So, I don't know. We'll see, but 3 turns on that. This guy's going to be there in 5 turns. Hopefully that's not too slow. We'll know soon enough. Our techs are good. Our laws are fine. Our construction is good. I think everything is good to go. So let's see. Let's see what happens. I am very curious. I am very, very curious to see what happens here. Oh, okay, we'll be there in 2. All right. Fingers crossed. I would love to just get it right away. That would be really nice. Though somehow I doubt that's going to happen. We did not get it. So it just says no progress on outpost, but ours says colony in 1. Honestly, I think that this mechanic could use just a bit of love from the developers, just so it's a little bit more clear what's happening here. One thing that I am excited to see is that their boosters are going to be running out soon, and mine are not going to be running out soon, so maybe that's going to matter. Maybe it won't. I really don't know. Also, as we hover over this fleet... Oh, I need to stay totally still. What the heck? There we go. There are now two little logistics fleets. And I think we just murder them by showing up, but that means that there's more food being sapped from their capital, which is really, really good.
Why are you knocking around?
Really good. Hopefully that will continue to happen. So we'll know next turn when these guys arrive how we're going to deal with this, if we're going to need this guy or not. I am actually going to keep this dude from moving. Well, that's not true. I'm going to queue him over here, but I'm going to move this guy without pressing the button to move them in first and just see what happens there. Okay, so our colony on Lesath 1 is almost good to go. This was not... I mean, it's never great to be food capped, but as the Riftborn, it's their worst problems to have. Looks like our hero is going to level up next turn too, so that'll give us some more production. That ability is by far the best ability to grab first on the Riftborn hero. Alright. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so our building completed, but our hero did not level up. He must be really close, though. Alright, so now we're here. Let's see what that did. No progress on outpost and colony in 1. Looks like things are kind of just generally staying the same. Let's see if there's anything up here for me to hover on. It says system ownership is at 0 for both of us. Uh-huh. Whoa, look at that. Okay, so do you guys see that pink thing that says outpost action, steal growth, 2 self-time, Lord's effect, missing GUI element. GUI is graphics user interface. Interesting. So I think that this is for me. This is tallying up all of the production that I have in this location. Oh, I see. Okay, so that plus 10 says outpost action steal growth. That's this guy. And it's remaining for another 2 turns. And it says growth 2 self-time. Okay, so they just need to patch that up and just have it say from local integration. Because the rest of them say local magic and local acceleration. They also have theirs done in 2, so we'll see if that matters. I'm now going to attack with this fleet. I think I just auto-win that battle, but I'm honestly not sure. Yeah, okay. Auto-won that, and I got some dust for it. Nice. There we go. Okay, so now that I've started attacking, it says outpost loss in 1 turn. I think we're actually going to get it. That's hilarious. I thought that this was a tremendous mistake when I did it initially. I was really bummed about it, and I think we're actually going to get it. So, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this scout ship down rather than sending him over this way because I don't think it'll be necessary. Hopefully I'm right about that. Man, that is a very tense situation early game. Oh, just an asteroid field, interestingly. So I really wanted a warmer system over here. It seems like generally this little arm of the galaxy is just cold. I'm not sure if that's like I'm not sure if that's actually a thing. Like perhaps the arms have different, or just generally local patches of galaxy might have different types of systems. I know that's true in Endless Legend, but it makes more sense because geography you know. Or maybe climatology, I guess, is a better thing to attribute that to. But, you know, I think here that doesn't make as much sense. I hope that's not the case, but I would be curious to find out. I'm going to keep an eye on that. All right. So it turns out it was a good idea for us to queue up the troll over here. It would have been a waste of turns if that ship didn't end up doing anything, but it looks like that's going to be a-okay. Our husk is up in 2. After that, I am... Oh, right. And we also finished this colony. So what we're going to do is move as many people over as we can. We want... These guys do best on sterile. There we go. Look at that. Now we got a husk in 1. We're also going to do interplanetary transport network. I'm feeling a tad slow on science, although maybe that's just me. I'm going to leave it for that and see how it goes. Also, this monsoon is a priority because of this delicious deposit situation. In fact, I can't help myself. I think I'm going to go for that. But let's get the production first, since we're going to get the production anyway. You guys notice, like, if we do it in this order, this will be done in 11 turns, right? But if we do it in this order, this will actually give us more production. So perhaps this will happen faster. So we might end up getting this, you know, on turn 24, 23 instead of 25, which would be 11 turns from now, as it is turn 14. So anyway, if you've got 2 things you like pretty much about the same and one of them has anything to do with industry, you should do that one first. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Cool. So the asteroid field was found. Some nice light rays there. 1 million shards of rock and ice form the scale of tiny malformed moons of fist-sized clumps glitter. Fist-sized clumps glitter in the light of the distant sun. Man, I can read, I swear. The remnants of unknown planetary catastrophes or the whims of gravitational quirks. These fields are rich pickings of minerals, rare metals, and methane chunks, making them invaluable for developing industries. Okay. Look, that seems to have some chunk in it. Cool. I always like to read the flavor text in this game because sometimes it says really funny stuff. All right. Okay, so this system is like, hey, what are you doing? We're going to guard this. So anyone who comes in immediately, if they wanted to move through it, instead they would end up having to spend a turn with us here. And we would use our opal lasers to destroy their faces. Optimistically. Bang. Oh, man. We got it. Oh, that's great. I can't believe that. Yeah, take that, Sophons. Fools. I think they're all fancy with their science. Sorry, I'm just checking my timer. There we go. Ha! Cannot believe that. That's hilarious. Okay, low on manpower. I believe that we just finished a ship in our hometown, so that makes sense. All right, what's also really cool about this, you guys, is that we get this colony that they had as well. I think the idea is the infrastructure is here. It was built by Sophons. But then with our military might, we destroyed their outpost people. Their pilgrims? No. Colonists. Duh. Okay. So this one is 0, 15, 6, 0, 0. I'm just reading off the planet base output. This one is 16, 2. This one has more dust. This one has more industry, but not by that much. And honestly, I think I'm going to go for that. It also lowers our... Let's see. Yeah, it brings us up to ecstatic because this only gives -5 approval, but this one gives -8. And aesthetic systems get +25 on system, +25 industry. Let's see if that also raised our empire approval. So now we're on loyal. We get plus 1515. Let's just see. I'm just curious. Nah, still loyal. So the only thing this really changes is we get a little extra industry, a little extra dust from the output of this thing, and a little extra food on the system. Although that doesn't really matter in the first place because there's zero food on this output. So, you know, questioning the worth. Seriously questioning the worth. Look, this one actually gives us more influence. Does that make sense? I don't think that makes sense. If anyone can explain that to me, I would be happy to hear it. Why are we getting more influence from this plant, from the lava, than we get from ash? I don't know. Huh. I'm really unsure about that, actually. Maybe it has something to do with that signal curiosity. Yeah, it certainly might. Okay. So anyway, enough of that. So one thing that you might ask yourself is, hey, I've got this really sweet hero who I'm about to level up and give more industry power to. So this guy on a system gives plus 30 industry and plus 10 per anomaly on system, which we actually have one of because this planet is already colonized for us and it has molten springs, which is hilarious. So do we transfer the hero to kind of kickstart this colony? Is that a good idea? And I think the answer is no. I think you want to stack as much industry as possible in one system, but that logic is coming from Civilization, Civilization 5 to be particular. I have not tested it in this game, but since things get more expensive as you build more, like just generally buildings get more expensive because of the tech level they're from, it's typically a good idea to keep your strong systems strong. And we have a lot to do here, particularly this. So I'm okay with spending more time getting this up and running because I would so much rather colonize Lesath 3 as soon as possible. All right. This guy's going over here. This is a scout ship with no probes, which seems a bit silly, doesn't it? So we're going to actually have them come off of guard. And then they are a troll, right? So we go to troll. And let's give them some probes. How about 2? And then I'm going to take the lasers off just because it's going to be expensive to keep them on there. Like, notice here, upkeep is 7. And here the upkeep is 5. I don't know. You know, I'm going to keep him on. If he gets into any trouble, he might actually be able to defend himself. But yeah, like if there is a retrofit tree in this game, Shadow 3 is now exactly the same as Troll 2, which is an awesome movie, by the way. If you guys have not seen it, check it out. It's pretty hilarious. You know, they're now the same, right? So rather than doing that, I could have just been like, boop, I want the trolls to upgrade into shadows, you know? But whatever. It would be cool, but it's not dire. Okay, so I retrofit this thingy. Choop. And now 4 probes. One of which will be spent exploring this atmospheric. Let's see what we get. Talking world, which is beneficial. We get more influence and more approval, and we also got a nice little chunk of dust there. Okay, we're gonna need to talk about manpower in a second as well, as I realize. Alright, let's send this guy out. Ba-choom. Man, the Sophons are probably mad at us, and for good reason. Oh, I should have shot a probe off before doing that. Just because this guy has 3 probes, and next turn they'll get another +1. I don't think we're going to be able to make it to the next system, so we're going to end up wasting a turn of probe production. It's always good to think about, but also I want to explore the rest of the galaxy, so, you know, not the end of the world. Okay, so we have negative manpower from fleets and systems, and I believe that's because on this turn our husk finished. I believe that's why. In fact, I think we can look into this more if I find the appropriate tooltip. I'm pretty sure this will pop back up next turn, because it's just a 1-turn dip. 164. So I think if we look at our husk, which we need to retrofit, by the way, the manpower on this husk. Doesn't say. Maybe that's just because I don't have it fully selected. Hey, you. Oh, this happens sometimes. It's a little weird. It's kind of funky. I don't know why I can't, like... There we go. Let's see. Does it say? Just 40. Interesting. We're going to see if this manpower pops back up. I'm almost positive that's what it's from. Okay. So we go over here to Husk. Edit. If we had a retrofit tree, we could just say, hey, Husk, turn into a Geist 2. Right. Colonizing activated. Tons of movement points. Confirm. Not worried at all about the upgrade cost here. What? Oh, did I just cancel that? Yeah, I did. It's because I'm so good at this game. Ah, you. Go over there. I like having this at the front for some reason. There we go. Boop. Got it. Okay. So where's this guy gonna go? Trime? Probably. Zuben's not happening. It's 2 gas planets and Boreal. Perseus has a cold planet, and we need production desperately. More than anything, we need production. I'm a little bummed that this wasn't actually a system for us to colonize. Vale is a possibility, but we need the technology maximized exploitation in order to colonize it. Sometimes you can get away with this where you actually end up researching the tech by the time your colonization ship gets there, and then you can do it. But in this case, I'm not sure that that's going to be true because, let's see, in 1 turn we'll have unlocked this next tier, but this is an expensive technology. That's 876, and we're not making that much science per turn, so it's almost definitely not happening. It's going to have to wait. Ingress is a thought. And the reason I would colonize this is just to make sure that the Sophons don't forward settle us. But honestly, even if they took it, I wouldn't be that concerned because I'm not very interested in this system. If I had some way to rapidly grow the borders to get in on this asteroid field, that would be good. But there just really isn't a way to do that. How about Izar? Yeah, so I think we're going up to here, up to Trime. We'll colonize the Ash because it's got lots of industry. Actually, this one has a lot of industry too, but it's a bit more forgiving on the approval side, and it has some other stuff. So we're going to get the large desert. And then later we will pick up this arid once we get rare earth foams. Speaking of, that's a cheap tech. that we might want to just grab because we're going to want both of these anyway, and this is going to make both of them cheaper. Maybe that's a good idea, and then we can just grab it, and it's got 20 industry, right? I think that's a plan. So if you're someone who plays Forex games really fast, it's good to slow down and think about stuff carefully because it can really improve your game a lot. One thing I'm realizing right as I say that is that I really should have known I was going to Sahar anyway. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Sahar. And had I done that, I wouldn't have put so many thrusters on this ship because it's going to be there early and just be waiting around. And we spent dust on those thrusters, so we probably, could have conserved some dust on that move, but not the end of the world. Okay, everyone's moved. Let's keep an eye on the manpower. Still at negative 162. I need to figure out why that's happening. Oh, no, back to 0. Okay. Cool. Founder of Conglomerates is our deed challenge. And we got system development, which allows us to unlock level 2 of our systems. That would be super great if we had luxury resources to use, but we don't. Here we do have these guys, blue cap molds, which give us science, which I'm not opposed to. I think that's good. I guess there's a deposit that gives us 2 of them, I think, per turn. Is that what that means? Resource income, 0 out of 2. Or it's 0 out of 2 because this guy has 1 as well. Well, anyway. Average deposit. Average deposit. I'm not exactly sure what the deal is with that, but yeah, for level 2 we might end up using blue cap mold. Jade Onyx is by far the best luxury to use for increasing your system levels, and these guys actually have it, so maybe we'll get lucky and find a system over here we can colonize. No. If this was a really warm system that had Jade Onyx on it, I would be turning this colony ship around and sending it over here to colonize it, and then really fully making some enemies out of these Sophons. The AI does not like it when you colonize near them, for obvious reasons. All right. Let's see how these guys are doing. Looks like machine embodiment's going to be finishing up soon. Not a lot else to do there. Let me see if this is fixed. Now it's not affecting our output at all. No, it is. Plus 10. Okay, I swear. Rewind a couple seconds on this video. That was plus 9. And I brought it over here and then brought it back, and then it goes to plus 10. I'm telling you, something's bugged here, because this one is supposed to give us one more. This one is supposed to give us more influence than this one, because we're going from happy to ecstatic. Strange. Don't know how I feel about that. Does this one? Yeah. I don't know. Rare Earth Foams is done. In our political survey, it looks like the scientists are doing pretty well, which is great. I like the scientist ones. The ecologist ones are okay, but we just don't really need food very much, so it's typically not at the top of the priority list. I find if you're playing kind of a normal game, as this one again was not so normal, you'll find that the pacifists end up doing really well if you're interacting with minor factions, and typically I am. It's kind of weird that we haven't actually met any minor factions yet. Usually You've met them by this point. You should be praising them. If they're pragmatists and they have development grants, you should definitely be praising them really, really consistently, because development grants is super good. It gives you a heap of dust and science. But here, that's not really happening because we haven't met them. So I'd be happy for the scientists to win. That would be cool. All right. Oh, rare earth foams is going to be done in 4 turns. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so the thought that's running through my head right now is it worth it to just colonize this desert and then... No, I think we should wait. Because it's not going to be 4 turns. It's going to be more like 10 or 12. And Sahara has more industry than that one does. By a pretty substantial margin, so that's what's happening. That's what's going down. Okay, let's see. Right. You guys can just fall asleep. And I'll just have to remember to colonize that when I see that tech is done. Yeah, so what is up with our manpower exactly? I think it just dipped because we made a ship. Pretty sure that's what happened. Please leave a comment if you know exactly what the deal was there. Okay. Right. Build queue is good here. Build queue is fine there. Yep. I think this turn is up. So my first video was about an hour long and we got to turn 7 because there's so much to do. This one is also going to be about an hour long, and I think we're going to get, turn 25-ish, something like that. There've been a lot of turns here that don't have a ton of things to do, which I'm okay with. I think that's fine. Like, from a game design perspective, I'm okay if every now and then there's turns that don't have a lot. Okay, atmospheric and subterranean. Low gravity is very good. Hyperium is very good. And dust to dust. We can send a fleet to Ingress for 30 titanium, which we will absolutely be doing. But then after that, we need to run away because it's going to spawn some pirates. I take it if you know this game at all, you've probably read the flavor for Dust to Dust. But here it is if you want to check it out. You can pause. Alright, so around this time is when our faction quest would be completed if we had decided to stick our hero in an exploration ship and cruise him around and explore anomalies, curiosities with him. I really shouldn't be saying him. I'm not sure if E is male or female, just machine, so with it. Yeah, FYI, this would be done like around now, and we would get Voidstone. Okay, we definitely want that. I want that a lot. We need to get this done. Maybe it was silly of me to choose this route, the 11 system improvements, instead of the ecologist route, which is explore 5 curiosities with a hero of level 3 or greater, because Voidstone is really good, and I would like to have that now, because then we could do our system development and use Voidstone. I think it costs like 30 or 40. So maybe it's not worth anyway because we need to uncover more of it, but I don't know. We'll see. All right. So yeah. I'm going to send this guy back over. Since there's not a whole lot else to do. Let's see. It's out of probes. Yeah. Send them over. There's nothing in this system for us to explore. So I'm just going to move right through it. Oh, man. Maybe that was an error. I probably should have stopped and shot off a probe or two. I don't know why I keep forgetting to do that. I think it's, just if you're playing by yourself and you're really focused, just remember to always shoot off extra probes when you get the chance. I don't know why I've been dropping the ball on that. This is a weird shaped arm, isn't it? It does not look very lined up with this one, but that's okay. It's nature, after all. It does not have to be perfect. Though, I will say, in physics, there are many examples of us expecting perfection from nature, like symmetries and beauty that's a really big thing in physics, which I think is quite cool. Alright, let's keep this going. Huh. Neutron star. Interesting. Well, I'm kind of torn on which way to go. I'm not sure which one is actually more likely to connect. I'll probably just end up choosing one at random. Leave a comment if you'd like to vote. Actually, it's not going to work because I'm going to do it like right now. Okay, so these guys have got one more machine embodiment. That's good. They've got a lot more production. And they're still happy. What to build here? Getting them up to ecstatic is not a huge priority for me because, well, for many reasons. Perhaps another machine embodiment is in order. Though I would like to speed up our science a little bit. I've noticed that we're kind of lacking. So I'm going to do cerebral reality just because it's nice and cheap. That's going to give us 15 science. Public-private partnerships would give us plus 20 science since we don't have any fertiles and we don't have any temperates. But it takes 5 turns to build, and this one only takes 3. So I'm going to go for that and then probably go for another machine embodiment after that. That's the plan. Yep. Alright. So this ship does not seem to have actually regened probes because it happens every 2 turns, I guess? Question mark? Yeah. Cooldown is 4. I wonder if that's changed since the last time I've played this game. No, there hasn't been a patch since like last week. And I'm playing this on October 24th. So probably fine. Alright. No movement points on this guy. Our neighbors are quiet. These guys got burned, man. I think they're just sad. Little punks. We're gonna murder these guys first, definitely. No doubt about it. All right, our research is done, which means before anything else, so I don't forget, I'm gonna go ahead and colonize Sahar. Hey, get in there. Boop. And then just fly down. I was kind of hoping it would be a unique little video, but it just plays the arid planet video. That would be a cool little, not little. I know everything that seems little to people who play video games is actually a big ask for people who make video games. But it would be neat if each unique planet also had a unique little intro video, right? I'm just going to assume you agree with me. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so that I don't do this again, you stop. Oh, wait. Okay, there we go. Whew. All right. I'm going to shoot out one in, say, this direction and one in, like, that direction. I'm not going to go along that lane since... I mean, I'm not going to shoot a probe on that lane since I'm already actually going to shoot one there. Whoa, another unique planet. The origin planet of the strange race known as the Bagaba, who are, I'm going to read this, who are distributed artificial intelligence, whose calculations are done by the random movement of rocks, stone, and even grains of sand on this atoll planet. The warming and cooling of natural ocean currents coupled with tidal shifts in weather turns these elements into a living series of gates and arrays. This in turn transforms the entirety of the planet into a giant computer capable of reason and reflection. The very existence of this planet has caused heated arguments among philosophers and clerics of all stripes, and it is clearly either the work of a supreme being or the irrefutable evidence that one cannot exist. Wow. Interesting. So it probably gives a lot of science, I'd imagine. Huh, where is it? I thought I found it. Am I blind? Oh yeah, it's right here. Influence. I guess that makes sense. You can control the argument between the philosophers and clerics of all stripes by taking this planet. And it's big. It's a big atoll. You know, Jadonics. Ooh. Yeah, we're colonizing this one. I'll tell you that right now. That is a priority. It's good. Here's a detector ship. That's the Sophon's exploration vessel. I want to increase our time it takes to get Sahar, because Hyperium is not as useful to us as titanium, generally speaking. We're about to get a lot of it. Pachoom. 30 titanium. Heck yeah. That's done. Now this one, part 2. Send an expedition to the indicated Curiosity on Ingress 1. That's going to give us 100 dust, which I care very little about, and it's going to spawn a fleet that could murder us. So we're not going to mess with that for now. But we did just get a lot of titanium, which is absolutely fantastic. I am going to queue up a compression singularity on Gaikon. And put that first. Now, there are varying schools of thought on where your compression singularities should be built. One idea is that you should use the system that has the least amount of industry, because compression singularities always take only one turn to produce. They're expensive in resources, so they don't cost production, which makes sense. However, if you have a system that's not really doing very much and it's got a ton of production, you might as well let the other systems get on with their lives and do it in the system that's not very busy, right? So, I don't know. I go back and forth on it. Man, Jadonics, I love to see that. This is far away, but we can make it. We can make it. Okay, so after this colony, I think it would be reasonable to build another colony ship. And I am curious, are the Geists different at all than the Husks? No, they're not. So I'm going to delete the Husk design. And let's see. These guys are also the same, aren't they? 2 probes, a movement, and some lasers. 2 movement, a probe, and lasers. So the shadows are better at moving, and the trolls are better at probing. Well, I guess it doesn't matter too much, right? Because I'm gonna I'm probably not gonna make exploration ships for a long time. At least not until we get our second round of curiosities, which, by the way, could happen pretty soon. Yeah, could happen pretty soon. All right, so we unlocked a new level of this, I think on this turn. Is that right? No, it was a while ago when we got Galactic Commodities Exchange. So this tier of tech is really important for us, I'm pretty sure. I've done a couple plays with the Riftborn, and I've noticed that this one has a lot of good techs for us. First of all, G Services Exchange is actually really useful because heroes are super good in every game that Amplitude makes, which I like. I know that sounded negative, but I like that a lot. Heroes are really fun. It makes the game interesting. I love the lore and all the flavor there. Neurorobotics is an absolute must. It gives a ton of production, and it gives us production on hot planets, which is good because that's our bias. We tend to like hot planets, right? Like these lavas and stuff. So I know it's not much, only +1 on hot, but just generally, also getting approval is going to be nice for us because we're going to be going really wide. And of course, predictive logistics gives us +20 production per planet. And like in big systems, like that's 80 production here. That almost doubles our production. Though of course this is all expensive stuff, and by the time we get it and build it, it'll probably increase our production by about 50% or something like that. Okay, commercial frameworks is also good because we get trade networks. That's going to be really important. Then we have extreme atmospherics, which gives more strategic resources, which we also want. It also allows us to colonize gas giants, which I don't think you should ever put, I'm just saying, sometimes gas giants are good. Maximize exploitation, even better industry for hot planets. Terran planet, which we have a special planet for, and I'm never going to use 3D printing probably in my entire life. Maybe if I'm the Lumeris or some. I mean, I don't. Honestly, I think this is probably pretty weak, but still, we're gonna get maximized exploitation anyway. Yeah, and I don't think Chameleon Spaces is worth it necessarily. This is good, but we're going to end up... Notice this is a planetary specialization. We're going to end up using different planetary specializations. So, yeah. Anyway, all of these techs are pretty good, probably except for the last one. But... it might be better for us to focus on other facets of our empire. I think industry is good, but we need a bit more science. We could also build the Endless Research Park and Endless World. We might actually be in first for that. Let's check that out. Oh, okay. I'm actually curious about this. In Endless Legend, your rank for wonders is based off of how much production you've put into the wonder, not whether you've completed it or not. So for instance, if it's based on how much production you've put into it, then that means that we're in rank 1 and everyone is tied for first because no one's put any production into it. But if it means that we're in first because everyone's tied for first because no one has built it yet, then knowing your rank is worthless on wonders. So I'm pretty sure No one's even started building this building yet. And we do have a big, massive pile of production. But it's going to take 19 turns, and that's way too long. So I guess we're actually not going to do that. Sorry to get you all excited about the wonder and then, you know, get your hopes up like that. But yeah, I think science is going to be important for us. We do have science buildings to build. And we have some systems like this one, for instance, that has 5 planets and they're all good with science. So we will be a strong tech empire as well as a strong industry empire. But we got to start somewhere. Well, colonize Savannah. Warp drive is good. The ability to get more curiosities would also be nice. Yeah, more science. Point taken. Yeah. Really vacillating on what to do here. I'm not exactly sure, but you know what? To be honest, I think I'm actually going to put a cut in the video. I'll think about our next move for science. Yeah, these guys are going to finish up pretty soon. Right. Yeah. Okay. So once we spend the Hyperium on this, they'll be going pretty soon. That's going to be about another 5 or 6 turns on that. Our home colony's looking pretty good. We have a full lava planet. We're about to unlock another planet, which is going to give us some nice strategic income, which is going to be very, very important. It's also a temperate planet, so things like public-private partnerships and xeno-industrial infrastructure are going to become more relevant to us. I'll probably end up building both of those after we colonize this. I am absolutely stoked that we got Gaikon. I was really bummed about feeling like I had made a big mistake last episode, just because I think that could have been a real deal breaker for this Let's Play, to lose your first colony ship like that. I've never lost my first colony ship, fingers crossed. So that's a really, really awesome victory for us. I hope this Let's Play has been nice and entertaining for you guys. It sure has been for me. It's a real pleasure, and in the downtime between making the next video, I'm going to read your comments, see what you guys have to say, and also think about our next tech. So, yeah, that's totally open to you guys as well. If you have any suggestions about what you think I should research at this juncture, I would be happy to hear it. All right, thank you so much for watching. My name is Zardos, and this is Endless Space 2. Have a good one.